the voice of Eastern Iowa. News Talk 1540 KXEL, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids.
This is the diamond anniversary year of an Iowa broadcasting icon. KXEL Radio first went on the air on July 15, 1942, the first station in the country to begin broadcasting with a maximum 50,000-watt clear channel signal.
Now therefore, I, Terry E. Branstad, Governor of the State of Iowa, do hereby proclaim July 15, 2017 as KXEL Radio 75th anniversary.
When I'm back in Iowa, I often listen to KXEL in the car driving around Iowa, and sometimes I leave it on all night long when I sleep, waking up from time to time, picking up the top of the hour news, etc. I always enjoy listening to your program. So I say, congratulations on 75 years of service to Iowans.
The KXEL brand now extends beyond the historic AM 1540 broadcast frequency, including global reach through internet streaming at KXEL.com. Simulcast broadcasts through the KXEL mobile app for all platforms and devices. And a robust social media presence on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But none of those things was invented when Joe Dumond was born in Finchford in Blackhawk County in 1898. In fact, growing up, Joe never considered a career in radio, since radio had yet to be invented. While studying at what was then called Iowa State Teachers College, Joe Dumond used his music and speaking skills to become a touring performer. Around the same time, the owner of the Tribune newspaper in Waterloo moved a Cedar Rapids radio station to town. The life of a performer on the road was not easy, so in 1929, Joe jumped at the chance to join the radio station staff. As the 1930s began, radio station programming was made up of live performances and announcers playing recordings. One night, after becoming bored with playing the same records repeatedly, Joe Dumond happened upon an idea that changed his life.
I will never know what caused me to put aside the records and start talking about my youth, recalling the days in Finchford when I went to the meeting of the Ladies' Aid Society with my mother, just as a youngster, taking part in the goings-on of the village. In fact, experiencing a kind of rebirth by the bend of the river.
And that is how Joe Dumond created a character known as Josh Higgins of Finchville, with common-sense stories about contemporary life and times. It not only became a hit in eastern Iowa, but the NBC network started including Josh Higgins in its national Farm and Home Hour broadcasts. Dumond moved to Chicago to become a regular on that program and host his own Josh Higgins Show on the national network. That led to recognition back home as a new park in Blackhawk County was named for him. You know it today as George Wythe State Park, but in 1937 it was christened the Josh Higgins Parkway, complete with a formal ceremony that was broadcast nationally. While Dumond was successful in the big city, he longed for a simpler life in Iowa, as well as the chance to own and run his own radio station. He started to line up investors and even met with the chair of the Federal Communications Commission. Normally, an unproven owner would be granted a license for a small station, typically 250 watts. But as Dumond remembered in a recording 40 years ago, the FCC chairman had bigger plans in mind.
No, he said, that won't do the job that needs to be done in that great farm area. And then he said, Josh Higgins should have a 50,000 watt station to really cover the entire farm belt.
And so it was that despite the nation being at war, despite an unproven track record as an owner, and despite the rarity of such a signal, KXEL officially signed on the air on July 15, 1942, with a signal that, then as now, reached virtually all of Iowa by day and half the United States at night and in the early morning. That first day on the air included a live broadcast from the Iowa State Teachers College campus in Cedar Falls. The school's football games were aired on KXEL, beginning a relationship for the station as the home of the Panthers that continues today. The schedule included wartime news updates, extensive farm programming, and network entertainment including The Lone Ranger and Lum and Abner. Dumont called KXEL the Josh Higgins voice of agriculture in service to Midwestern farmers. And to note the wide audience both in town and on the farm, he described the audience as the KXEL Rural City in a series of advertisements designed to attract national businesses. Ever the performer, Dumont portrayed the Higgins character in the community, including live broadcasts from sponsored events at the National Dairy Cattle Congress from the very beginning. The Black's department store downtown was also a site for live broadcasts, as were local grocery stores and the YMCA. Dumont added an FM station to serve the community, one of the earliest to go on the air in Iowa. After a decade and a half, building KXEL into a nationally recognized power, Dumont opted to move to a warmer climate and spend his remaining years in the southern U.S. But his fondness for his time establishing KXEL was evident 35 years after the station went on the air, in this 1977 recollection.
Congratulations, KXEL, and all who now make you one of the nation's greatest radio stations. All of you shall always be very special to me.
On that first broadcast 75 years ago, Dumont told the audience he founded KXEL as a medium for promoting a better understanding of the world around us, with determination, service, and an appreciation of our neighbors. Those principles still guide the station today. As the voice of Eastern Iowa, News Talk 1540 KXEL strives to present fair and accurate news and public affairs programming, stimulate provocative conversation, and air a broad range of entertainment programs, ranging from UNI Panther sports to classic radio programs on Saturday nights. KXEL is committed to serving its community. And now, just as when it was founded 3/4 of a century ago, the station is owned and operated right here in Eastern Iowa. NRG Media owns 40 stations in 4 states, with its 4 Iowa stations located with studios in downtown Waterloo. We're proud of our heritage, committed to building a better community today, and excited for a future of growth with our neighbors. For 75 years, the voice of Eastern Iowa, News Talk 1540 KXEL.